We used to believe in the power of friendship. We were raised on the idea that if you screamed loud enough, if you pushed hard enough, or if your heart was simply pure enough, the universe would eventually bend to your will. We grew up watching icons who were pillars of hope, invincible, smiling, and fundamentally certain of their eventual victory. But as we move further into this decade, that hero, the one we knew, is effectively dead. Or rather, the concept of that hero has undergone a radical, structural evolution. We don't necessarily want a hero who wins anymore. We want a hero who simply survives. We've traded the chosen one for the broken one. Today, we're dissecting why modern anime has abandoned narrative optimism and how the shining aura of the 90s was replaced by the human condition of 2026. To understand where we are, we have to look back at what I call the static hero. The safety net of our childhood, for decades, the Shonen formula was a moral constant. Characters like Goku, Luffy, or Naruto didn't really change as people. Instead, they changed the world around them. They were born with what we might call a god complex, not in a villainous way, but in the sense that their willpower was a literal force of nature. In the 90s and early 2000s, tragedy was almost always a backstory, not a destination. Batman's parent died so he could become a hero. Naruto was lonely so he could become Hokage. The pain was just fuel, a necessary ingredient for a future power-up. It was a beautiful lie that we collectively loved, right up until the reward started feeling too heavy for a simple transformation to fix. We eventually realized that in reality, screaming doesn't make the grief go away, and a new hair color won't solve a systemic crisis. We needed something more honest. Enter the broken prototype. This is where the genre pivots from action into psychology. Look at a character like Lynx from Banana Fish. Ash is the ultimate antithesis of the shonen dream. He didn't choose to be a hero. He was a survivor of a cycle of violence and exploitation that he couldn't simply punch his way out of. His win isn't a throne or a title. It's just a fleeting moment of peace. Then you have someone like Denji from Chainsaw Man. Denji doesn't care about being the king of anything. He wants a warm meal, a hug, and a reason to wake up tomorrow morning. This is the humanization of the icon. We are moving away from characters we look up to and toward characters we look into. We aren't watching these new protagonists to see how they'll win. We are watching them to see if they'll break under the pressure of their own existence. And in that reflection, for the first time in anime history, we finally see our own struggles staring back at us. This shift isn't just happening in the script. It's written into the very frames we watch. In the old guard of Shonen, the visual language was one of power. Fights were centered. The lightning was balanced. and the hero always occupied the focal point of the screen. But look at the modern visual language of studios like MAPPA, WIT, and Ufotable. They've abandoned the shining aura for what I call the cinematography of despair. They use Dutch tilts, those slanted, uncomfortable camera angles, to create a sense of psychological unease. They use heavy, oppressive shadows to physically drown the protagonist, making them look small and vulnerable in a world that clearly doesn't care about their destiny. When you watch Jujutsu Kaisen or Villain Saga, the camera is often shaky, rounded, and messy. It tells the viewer, without saying a word, that the hero is capable of truly losing everything. There is no plot armor left to save them. And that visual vulnerability is exactly what keeps us glued to the screen. Ultimately, the shonen hero didn't die because we stopped liking them. They died because we, as an audience, grew up. We realized that being a hero isn't actually about the final blow or the gold medal at the end of the race. It's about the soul-crushing, quiet cost of standing back up after life has beaten you down for the 100th time. We crave tragedy now, not because we want to be sad, but because tragedy is the only thing that feels honest in 2026. The age of the perfect hero is over, and the age of the survivor has begun. But I want to hear your perspective on these shifts. Who is the most human character you've ever encountered? The one who made you realize that anime was so much more than just a cartoon. Drop a name in the comments and let's start a real discussion if you believe that animation is a high art form. Hit that subscribe button for the next breakdown. I'm the Weeb, and I'll see you in the next one.